Delaware County Redevelopment Commission meeting to order. If you could stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Danielle, John, I'm not sure which of you is going to be calling roll.
Present.
Commissioner Henry.
Here.
Commissioner Brand.
Present.
Mr. Wiggerly.
Here.
Ms. Green. Here. Minutes from the March 13th meeting.
Have some corrections. Under item number 7, that should say make my move, not make Muncie move. Under number 11, that is the Westdale money that we gave to redo the SRF, and my comments were about adding in the funding that the Delaware Redevelopment Commission's already provided, plus this additional $10,000 into the bond, should they get that far, so that we can get that money back. And then in the claims from that previous meeting, the Baker Tilly, $7,840 should not have been in the claims.
The one that was pulled.
The one that was pulled. So we approved that in the last meeting, but it shouldn't have been in there. And that needs corrected. So do we need to take formal action on unapproving that since we approved it in the last meeting?
Record's clear, that's public.
I'm good too, I just want to be clear. Okay, those are my corrections.
Do we need a motion to remove that?
Well, you should make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected. And then you can move on to the business of fixing that one claim.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please. Mr. Peasley.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Brand.
Yes.
Wiggerly.
Abstain, I was not present.
Yes.
Now I'd make a motion to remove the Baker Tilly $7,840 from the meeting minutes from the last meeting, and because it shouldn't have been approved. Second.
Roll, please. Peasley.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly.
Abstain, I wasn't present.
Yes. Alright, moving on to number 4 on the agenda, the oath for Carrie Wiggerly. Carrie, welcome.
Thank you. Assuming you want me to stand for this, so I'm making some easier to hit me in case. I Carrie Wiggerly, you solemnly swear. Often, by the way. That I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Indiana, and I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties as a member of the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission according to law and to the best of my skill and ability.
I will.
And I certify that I am not an employee of Delaware County and I'm at least age 18.
True.
I'm not going to ask
I
how
do.
far over 18 you are.
You don't want to, you don't have a calculator.
Just sign that?
Sure. Where do I send the payments? Oh, no, wait, that's something else.
That's the last item. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. You think I'd be smarter, but I'm not.
Next, we need to replace the vice president, as that was Michelle Batters, and we need to appoint a secretary. We had not had a secretary up until this point, so I'll entertain a motion for vice president.
the record, the vice president has to be an appointment of the county commissioner, so it's one of
Yes.
three. Either Commissioner Brand, Commissioner Henry, or Mr. Wiggum,
Yes.
according to the statute.
Don't know how it'll go. I'll nominate Commissioner Henry for vice president.
Decline the nomination. I'll nominate, Mr. Wiggly.
You folks are.
I'll second.
We have a nomination and a second for Mr. Wiggly. Will you call roll, please? Mr. Keesley?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Brand?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggly?
Yes.
And Ms. Yes. Now I'll entertain a motion for secretary.
I would nominate the nominator, Rob Keeson.
Second.
We have a nomination and a second for Mr. Keesling. Roll call, please. Mr. Keesling?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Mr. Brand?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggly?
Yes.
Yes. Moving on to table business. First, under 6A is the Muncie Delaware County EDA proposal for economic development services.
Make a motion to take it off the table.
Second.
All in favor of removing off the table? Say aye.
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 Good morning, Tracy.
Yeah, while Tracy's approaching, I'll just give a quick update. So we heard this at the commissioners meeting as well, and we agreed to a 1-year agreement, if it could be funded by the Redevelopment Commission.
Yeah, this was sent here by the commissioners who have already approved this. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but I know that you've had this for some time and hopefully have been able to review it. But any questions, I'm glad to answer.
No questions? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. I'm trying to keep track of you, Danielle. I don't want to get too far ahead. You're just going as fast. Mr. Keeling?
Yes.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Brand?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggly?
Yes.
Green? Yes.
Thank you. Thanks.
6B is the target industries study. You might not want to move.
I'm not sure that was actually ever tabled. I think I provided some updates, just information, but I never made any formal request, so I don't think it was ever tabled.
I know you didn't make any formal request, but I believe Commissioner Brand tabled that at the meeting, because it was towards the end of the last meeting. Once we had moved out into the lobby, I think everything was a bit confusing at that time.
Yes, I'd make a motion to remove it from the table.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor of removing from the table, say aye.
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 So at the previous meetings, you came and introduced the target industry study, said that there was a group going to meet to select the top respondent, and that you had a grant of $50,000 from George and Francis Ball Foundation, and that if the respondent was in excess to that, you may come and ask the Redevelopment Commission for support. I also understand that perhaps you have asked some other entities. Could you provide an update?
Yeah. Yes. So our ad hoc committee of reviewers met just this week, and we have selected a firm called Techonomy. You all have seen those proposals, but the group unanimously felt that that was the best firm for us to conduct this study. Their price is $95,000 to $105,000. I have secured $50,000 from George and Francis Ball Foundation, working with Rob and INM to hopefully bring in an additional $10,000. That still leaves a gap. I feel that I can get some funding from other sources, so I'm prepared today to ask the commission for $25,000 to support this effort. And for Mr. Wiggerly's benefit, who has not been maybe privy to these proposals, really the point of this is to identify and analyze industries that have high growth potential that complement our existing industries. It'll give us some data-driven, qualitative and quantitative analysis of our assets, and to help us sort of maybe even pivot to try to attract something different. And it'll put some strategies behind that. So this is a best practice of economic development to do this periodically. I'm not wanting to do this because it's best practice. I believe that it is really the right strategy for us to do this. So I would appreciate your support today.
Now, ECIRP conducted a target industry study with Hickey Global, and this is going to be different than that in what way?
Yeah, it's wider in scope, and the geographic area that study analyzed is different than what I believe our geographic area should be to inform our strategies. Their study went all the way down to Connorsville, Rushville, Wayne County. We have similarities there, but I do believe it's important for us to do something that's really focused more around Delaware County. I think this study is also going to be more expansive in its scope. It's going to give us some deeper strategies. So I think it's necessary.
Tracy, and we've already discussed these, and it was lovely reading. Is your request an up to amount? I mean, my understanding is you're looking for private sector to primarily support this growth, and then the commission kind of being I don't want to say last, but if the private sector can do it, I think is your goal.
I'm asking for $25,000 today. So I'd like to be able to go to the other funders and say, I could really use 10 from you, I could use 5 from you, and then we're good. Rather than come back another month to try to fill that gap, I want to get this study going.
Appreciate the candor and the clarity. One question I have for this commission is, with the Dalevilles interlocal agreement, this would fall outside of that, so we would probably need to approach the town of Daleville for their participation.
I agree.
If it is funded through TIF, but
I agree.
I'll make the motion for the 25,000.
I'll second.
Motion.
Yes.
Thank you. Can you call roll, please, Danielle?
Mr. Keesley,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and thank you to Mr. Kiesling and Mr. Brand for pouring through all of these proposals. I know that it was some pretty deep reading over spring break and a lot of work to do that, but the input is really valued from the commission. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy.
6C, ECIRPD agreement for economic development services.
Make a motion to take it off the table.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of removing from the table, say aye.
Aye. I would make a motion to withdraw the request for that. Second.
Motion and a second to withdraw. Danielle, will you call roll, please?
Mr. Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
and Ms. Green.
Yes. D, Well Path Recovery Solutions, Economic Development Agreement. I don't
I would
see.
ask that remain on the table. I'm still communicating with WellPath on that one. They sent some revisions in the other day, and I just haven't had time to review them.
Revisions to the EDA.
Yes.
I'd also like it on the record that at the last meeting, I requested 2 additional documents. One was their operating plan, and the other was the contract that was signed by the commissioners, I believe, on November 14th of 2024. Mr. McConnell said he would get us those documents, but I haven't seen them. I don't know if anybody else has seen them.
Yeah, I've got a copy. I didn't realize. Okay.
A copy of
copy.
which?
County's contract.
Okay. And then I'd asked him for an operating agreement too, an operating plan to
Okay.
see if it was solvent. He said he would get that.
It may have been in the email that he sent to me. I
Okay.
just haven't had a chance to look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Six E, Fusion Road funding, Tommy. Do I have a motion to remove this from the table?
Motion removed from the table.
Second.
All in favor of removing from the table, say aye.
Aye.
Morning,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thanks. I have a little more information from last time we talked. I don't think we got into, we thought we maybe could do this, but with a lot of, what's going on out there, it's gonna be something we're probably gonna have to have contracted out instead of doing it in-house. The reasons being the milling, trying to coordinate the milling with our other paving our programs that's happening. If they get this milled and we can't get to it for 2 weeks, it's gonna be soft and it would not hold up. So that's one of the issues. The other issue is the lane width. It's gonna be a little bit of a challenge for us on the lane width. We don't typically do the extra wide lanes with turn lanes and everything like that. It's something I think we could do, but it's gonna be a challenge for us. One of the biggest things is the loops for the stoplights and the switch boxes. That's something that we don't do, we haven't done, and I'm gonna say whoever gets it is probably gonna have to contract, maybe they will know how to do it, but we do not know about putting the loops in. And what that consists of is some kind of wiring or something is what I'm taking, and it works the stoplights where you hit the bars. So that's some of the issues we're up against. It's, like I said, it's taken on a large job with all the blow-ups of these county roads that we have now. We're gonna be strapped trying to do it in-house. I did get some phone calls from some people that live on Old 67 on Hoyt that is noticing the deterioration of the sides and in the middle. I just got one. I cannot think of the guy's name. I know he works with John Hamilton. I cannot remember his name, but he just called me about some deterioration down where the state, real close to where the state takes over, where we would be stopping at. So I have to go out and look at that this weekend.
Thank you. I said, just for clarity, this was a follow-up when you came and talked earlier and Commissioner Henry said, hey, is there a way we can do this ourselves to save some money?
Right.
And then we talked about getting some milling quotes, which I believe the deputy auditor may have.
Good morning, I'm Tonya Dunsmore with the Delaware County Auditor's Office, and I have the milling bids if you'd like to open them.
Please.
First one we have is from Midwest Paving, Noblesville, Indiana.
Turn your mic on. I forget that.
Midwest Paving, Noblesville, Indiana, first one. Always like a scavenger hunt to find a bid in these things.
Need a cover sheet. Maybe it's free.
All right, I've got unit prices for this one. Milling asphalt 2-inch will be $2.25 a square yard. Disposal within a 5-mile radius, $1.25 a square yard. and disposal of materials other than the Delaware County Highway Department at $1.50 a square yard. Second one is from EV Paving. They put this in another envelope. Oh, here it is. Okay. There's unit price, milling asphalt, 2-inch, $1.74 a square yard. Disposal within a 5-mile radius to the Delaware County Highway Department, $1 a square yard. And disposal of materials other than the Delaware County Highway Department, $2 a square yard.
Thank you. So while we may not necessarily use it for the Fuson Road project, we at least have the milling quotes. If we wanted to do something in the future, I would recommend we take the milling quotes under advisement.
Second.
Roll call, please. Mr. Beasley,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Riggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
Now, as far as 6E, I guess, unless anybody objects, I'd make a motion to withdraw that from our agenda. It sounds like if we're gonna do it, we wouldn't have the capacity to do it right now anyway.
We're asking Tommy to come back for full mill and pave, or we're just removing it from
I
consideration?
guess we could ask him to come back for a full mill and pay.
Is that what you're looking for?
So, sorry, I didn't hear.
So it would be for you to since milling is, or the county paving is not a viable option. I believe Commissioner Henry raised this last meeting on your behalf.
Okay,
That it would be better to see the sealed bids for the complete project.
okay,
So it would be it would be a new item
Right.
on the agenda.
okay. So I just need to get the bids for that.
Oh, you already bid that.
No, we didn't bid it, we just got like a quote.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got a quote to kind of give you guys a heads up, so we are okay to go forward with getting bids on this. Okay. I'm sorry I wasn't here for the last one, so I'm a little lost, but no, that will be good.
So I'll make a motion to put 6E back on the table.
Second.
All in favor of putting back on the table, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. 6F, Yorktown, Mr. Bruton is here. I'll entertain a motion to remove this from the table. The Jackson Street Drainage Project, we've seen this multiple times already.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor of removing, say aye.
Aye.
Good morning.
I have a letter from a citizen. Now, copies of the thing yesterday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm looking in the interior of the house. Yeah. Thank you all. Chase Bruton, Yorktown Town Manager. We have a drainage problem on Jackson Street, coming right off of 600, leading towards Quebec Station there. I believe there's 5 or 6 residents that essentially have a mosquito pond in front of their home. It is an old county ditch that has not had any upgrades since it was annexed into Yorktown. So we went out and had a drainage study done by BF&S. They recommended moving forward with the third option in the documents that I sent to you. That's a hybrid ditch project. Their capital expense estimate on that is $93,500. That project has not yet gone to bid. They're still working on the engineering documents for it and the bid documents. But the total cost of that project right now, for my estimates, is going to be $154,925.
This is a little bit of a financial burden on our stormwater fund. We receive roughly $110,000 in ditch assessments every year, 30,000 of which goes to MS4 for their services related to stormwater compliance. So rough numbers, Yorktown brings in about $80,000 a year for stormwater projects and other costs, and so this is close to double that number. And so I'm approaching the RDC here with an ask for some help on the capital side of this project. I did not know if you would like me to come back with the ask once the project has gone to bid and we have final numbers, or if we feel comfortable discussing off of engineers' estimates. I know how that can kind of get a little questionable.
Are you asking for the full amount?
I would ask that we split the total cost. So the total cost I have right now is $154,925. I would ask that we split it 50-50. I would then be able to fund it off of 1 year's worth of stormwater funds. That would consume your stormwater. That would completely consume my stormwater funds in 1 calendar year, correct?
Madam President, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Is this actually a county ditch?
No, this is part of annexed Yorktown prior to the consolidation. So we have a consolidated community with Mount Pleasant Township. This is inside of Yorktown, was previously a county ditch.
Okay. And so it's not part of the county drainage system that the drainage board would have a responsibility.
To my knowledge, that is correct. Yes, it is Yorktown's responsibility, but it is a deteriorated storm ditch that I believe was deteriorated when we probably annexed it in, and it has just continually gotten worse.
I just didn't know if it was eligible for reconstruction or maintenance on the drainage program.
I guess I have a similar question. Is it still assessed?
Yeah, good question, man. Because I know that.
John, your mic's not on.
I keep forgetting that.
If
You
it
might
is,
want to just table this so that we can take a look at with the county surveyor.
I'd make a motion to table this for Mr. Bruton to come back with the exact cost, understanding that his request is to split it 50-50 while we do work to see if this is still assessed by the surveyor.
Commissioner Brand, when you say exact cost, are you expecting sealed bids at that point, or?
I would think so. I mean, if he's asking us for 50% of the actual cost. I would be comfortable with that. I just would, it has deteriorated to the point that now it's a safety issue for some of those homes. So I would like the RDC to understand that when we do those openings, I do expect my council to take the lowest responsive bidder and not kick the can another month down the road.
Okay. Second Commissioner Brand's motion.
Motion and a second to table. You call roll, please.
Mr. Keesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Regularly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Six G DCRWD tip transfer request. Danielle.
This is just an update, guys. I presented this issue to the Delaware County Regional Wastewater District where there's a $1 difference in what you guys have been paying them and what their request has been over the years that I've represented them. I noticed the issue when Matt Eckerly gave his presentation last month. So I have reached out to Matt Eckerly's team. He was on vacation, so they're looking into where that difference came from, and I just want to make sure everybody's accounting is accurate before that claim is actually submitted and then transferred. So the district is okay with that. They understand. They want to make sure it's correct as well. So I just wanted to give you guys the update that Matt Eckerly's team is looking into it, and if you got any inquiries as to why that hadn't been transferred, I just wanted everybody to be up to date on it.
So you're not looking for any action from the
Nope,
board today?
it's just
Okay.
informational purposes for you guys.
And there were 4 claims in the packet for this. Looks like they total $415,700.39. Are those the 4 that you're referring to?
This is the last month transfer for $112,933 versus 32. It's a $1 difference. I put it on the agenda for this month just to tell you that I didn't actually I didn't put that claim in. Because I got the $1 difference in what I was always told that transfer was supposed to be versus what Matt Eckerly presented at your meeting. So I wanna make sure, somewhere that accounting error is hitting somebody's books.
Yep.
So it's not on the claims for this month, it was a last month, claim you saw.
Gotcha. And this happened before the TIF was transferred to Daleville, so when this comes out, this will be paid out of which TIF?
No,
Daleville TIF,
yeah,
okay.
this is part of the obligation that was already accounted for in that agreement.
Okay.
6H, First Harrison Bank audit letter. This is just an update as well.
And this is just an update, vacation's hit for everybody this year, so, Ms. Green and I met earlier this week and, haven't had a chance to get her access to any information she may need to make some phone calls and things for TCRC. So we're working on that, just wanted to give everyone an update.
Can you give a more detailed update for Mr. Wiggerly since he was not here?
So last month, we received 3 different inquiries on an audit request, just to verify, you have this much in your account at this time. But all of the letters so initially I thought it looked like a scam. So we had reached out, worked with the auditor's office to figure out, is this someone we have an account through? It took the month to go back and forth between everyone. But then I wasn't given access to ask any questions. So last month we discussed it at the meeting to make sure Amber's name gets on any of the accounts and she has access to be able to call and just to confirm everything because their letterhead, the spacing was off, it looked weird, but there is an account with First Harrison Bank where a box is. So I just wanted to make sure it was on the up and up information. Any balances for TCRC.
Thank you.
So we are confirming the balances for the request?
I think it's a legitimate letter. I don't know who's in charge of their letterhead or why letters come with some logos, some without.
When we received these letters, there was a known scam going on with First Harrison Bank and they just didn't look right. So it raised a couple red flags.
Thank you.
You're welcome. 6I, discussion regarding adoption of bylaws. Since our last meeting, I don't recall seeing anything.
So I
Regarding the bylaws.
I sent them out after our last meeting and I've seen no response to them. So, at some point we need to ask our legal counsel to put them in the right format and we vote on them.
Make a motion, we move with that now.
Vote on them now.
No, let them put them in,
Yeah,
legal
format.
format and go ahead and approve them.
Second.
I think Rob had already seconded.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Well, we know how you're voting.
Roll call, please.
I think that one point of clarification, the only comment that we did get back was from Mr. Kiesling. Did anyone else have any comments before we put them into?
Yeah, I had 2 comments in the last meeting. One was under section 2, terms of service. I don't think this commission can limit terms of service from appointing entities. The other comment was, should the commissioners, which Danielle, you did the research on, the commissioners authorize the expansion of this board. We had the suggestion, if possible, 2 additional appointments join mid-year, just for continuity, but
To have the option.
yeah, but I think that's, the discretion of the commissioners.
I just want to make sure there weren't any other comments before. Mr. Keesley?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Brand?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly?
Yes.
Yes. 6J, issue bids for Park 1 second entrance. Entertain a motion to remove this from the table.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good morning.
Morning. My name is Calvin Herr. I'm with American Structure Point. I just wanted to give an update that we've received the NDOT permit for the driveway access to State Road 332. That will allow for the connection of Park 1 Boulevard to the State Road, as well as the construction of the traffic signal at that intersection. Our plan is to release bids as early as tomorrow. I do require some signatures on our plan title sheet, as well as some contract documents. Not sure how to work that out, but with the bids, the plan is to have sealed bids for the next meeting on May 8th to open. If there's any questions, I can answer them, but that's the update that I have. The only comment I have is relatively benign, is some of the documents that Brad looked out listed as a point of contact. So I believe that would.
I did already clarify.
Thank you, Danielle.
Some of the things I think in the last communication, they weren't sure if they could change on the permits that had already been submitted. So I don't know the status on if they were able to get those changed, or if we'll just have to sign Amber's name. Where it says Brad, I guess I'll look to you for that clarification with the state permits.
Yeah, the only document that currently isn't changed is the NDOT permit that was issued. We weren't able to change the name before that was issued. We don't think that it will be a problem, but that everything else has been changed, so it's Ms. Green's name.
NDOT personnel changes all the time, so I'm guessing there's probably someone from NDOT on that document that doesn't exist too, so that's right. I don't think it'll be an issue.
But I did catch that in last month.
And then this is the bid packet you'll be sending out?
Yes.
Okay, so you said you'd have bids for us for the next meeting, which is May 8th.
Correct.
Okay, and on the front of this packet, it says bids are due July 10th, so.
There are edits being made to that.
Perfect,
Yes.
okay. Just want to make sure. So do we need to take action to approve President Green to sign the documents that I'd make a motion to approve? Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. You want to come up and get those signed right now? The first two are permits for relocation of a water and sanitary line.
I think that one's me. There's a sticker, but it says developer.
Third one's a record of payment design, basically a payment schedule for the project.
We can sign that one again. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
6K RFPs for mowing. We received these last month.
Make a motion to remove from the table.
Second.
Okay, motion a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. So at the last meeting, these were opened and they quoted in different units and different terminology, and it appeared at the meeting that perhaps Coops was the lowest, but seeing that they had different units, I wanted to take it under advisement, which we did. And the analysis actually proves out that J. Crew is the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. I sent out this summary to the board previously.
Motion, we accept J. Crew.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Keesling,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. And 6L, this is just an update, correct, Danielle? The RAI dues.
Yeah, it was tabled, so I've left it on there because soon enough we'll actually get the invoice. They just said it wouldn't be ready until around June, so, it's just stayed on the table. You don't need to do anything today.
Will we need to make any corrections to replace Mr. Wiggerly from Michelle?
Will, and as soon as those documents are available for me to do that with, I'll make sure I do that.
Okay, thank you.
And while we're on that topic, we need to bond Mr. Wiggerly.
I've got it on my list too.
Okay. We're out of table business. Number 7 on the agenda, Mundell's first quarter of 2025 summary of Garfield facility. Some discussion on this.
Yeah, I asked the question of the board, this is a company that we're monitoring because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I'm assuming they're receiving fines. I'm not in the inner workings of this company, but my question was, why do we continue to pay for this versus having the company pay for it? And I asked if we could require, and I know Mr. Burke responded and said, not sure if we can require them to do this type of monitoring or not.
Right, I looked at some of the IDEM statutes, and there's no real obligation to advise local governments. They have an obligation to respond to, IDEM, they have issues and they bring it up, but there's nothing that requires them to report to Delaware County or the city of Muncie.
The enforcement and monitoring is ultimately under IDEM's jurisdiction, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
It was raised that it doesn't really seem necessary, and I kind of have to agree because we've been getting these reports from Mundell pretty regularly. They are reporting to IDEM, and it seems that IDEM is doing nothing, and I'm just not sure it's really an expense that we need to continue.
I mean, looking at this update, they had an inspection, it looks like maybe September of 24, and they're facing civil penalties of $46,500 for lack of response. I don't know where any of that lies, but I certainly don't want risk on the county for any type of environmental issues. But I didn't know if we could do something to enforce it. If we can't, then, while I don't like paying it, kind of think that we need to keep mitigating risk for the county.
See if we could talk with Mundell about pushing IDEM. I mean, that's never been part of their responsibility. It's their responsibility always was to monitor.
Right.
But if there, this time, if there is something that Mundell can do, in fact, to push IDEM and keep the heat on them and keep it moving forward, that may be appropriate as well.
Right.
Can you contact them, find out that information?
Sure.
Please. And I'm less concerned about them paying the fine than I am them correcting the issues that are found. I'd like for them to correct the issues.
We need any action on that?
No, I will contact Mundell and see if there's additional costs and what they can do, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So are we tabling this for next meeting then?
You can just have it as, we'll just add it to the agenda as a discussion topic. Okay?
Thanks, John. Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
We need a bigger table sometimes, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
All right, number 8, Inox request for final payment. That payment is complete.
It is, and this was just for informational purposes, just to let you guys know that that was paid, they received it, and that was the final payment.
And for the record, that payment was $610,000, and it was explained to me that the requirement to meet that payment was they had to finish their second floor. There were pictures taken, and I've seen those pictures, and it looks like they have the drywall up, and it's mudded, but it's not complete. So I don't know exactly what the language in the agreement says as far as how complete does it have to be to get that payment. Do we have a copy of that Creed agreement with Inox?
We do, and, I was thinking it was in the packet last month. If not, we've definitely got it on the server for the county and for GCRC. I didn't bring it with me today, because I was just letting you guys know that that payment was completed. But a representative was sent over to check the compliance with the wording, and I can't remember exactly.
I was under the impression it was white boxed.
Who was the
Are
representative?
those the words that's in the
That's,
agreement, white box?
that's what I was.
That's what I was asking for. What are the words in the
I will
agreement?
I can double check that because I wasn't prepared.
If those are the words, then it meets the requirement.
Who was sent to check compliance?
Bill.
Commissioner, I think Bill went.
Yeah.
I think in the future, it's probably best that a member of this commission check compliance with contracts that this commission has.
I'm okay to be that person.
I'm not picky on who it is. I just think it's best that it's one of us.
Yeah, so if it is white box, then it meets the requirement. If there's some other wording in there, then we should take a look.
Will you follow up on that, please? Thank you. Number 9, Resolution 2025-07, the amended resolution to split the cost of Baker Tilly. In last month's meeting, this was read incorrectly. What we agreed upon was splitting $3,000 for the study for Project Jonesy. In last month's meeting, it was read in as $6,000, and our split would be $3,000. So this resolution is amended to reflect that.
I think the email from Baker Tilly said the cost would be about $3,000. And the $3,000 was put in the resolution instead of the $1,500.
Yes.
You guys approved the resolution to pay for half the cost, but the incorrect amount was put in there, so we did an amended resolution when we caught the error doing the minutes for last month.
That's what I was just looking at. The minutes are correct, have been corrected for last month. Then that's what I was looking for right now.
It's gonna be towards the end.
That's what I'm skimming.
I'm looking at the Inox agreement just to fill you in. It is completion of the white space addition, as long as they've got a certificate of occupancy. That's the benchmark in the exhibit B to the agreement.
Okay, so we need to verify that they have a C of O.
If we can do that.
I'm glad to go out there too. It doesn't matter. Wouldn't mind seeing it. So still looking for this, Project Jonesy in the meeting minutes.
We only have to sit through 3.5 hours if we want.
There it is. Yeah, it's number 17, under A, update cost for abatement analysis of Baker Tilly totaling $3,000, resolution 2025-03. So that will also have to be corrected.
Well, the total was 3,000.
And we're splitting it.
You were splitting it.
Okay,
So
that's
I accidentally put the 3,000 in when it should have been the split cost of 1,500. So the
Gotcha.
resolution is just the amendment to have the correct split in there.
So the minutes are correct because that's how it was read, and that's the resolution that we signed.
Motion to approve amended resolution number 2025-07.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kiesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes. Number 10, Resolution 2025-08, to pay half of the low bid for coops.
this was what you guys approved last month, so the resolution is just memorializing that amount that you guys agreed to pay to Coops.
And we had made the comment that hopefully this gave him some leverage to go to MRC and try to get the other half. So if Mr. Cooper's watching, hopefully you've been to the MRC.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second, roll call, please.
Mr. Keesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Number 11, reimbursements from Delaware County Highway projects.
This is just for informational purposes. I don't know if you guys were given this information in the past, but when reimbursements come in to Angie Moyer at the Highway Department or anyone over there for bridge work that they've done, she would send over just a confirmation that this reimbursement was received. It goes directly to the auditor's office. There's nothing that this board has to do, but I just wanted to send you guys those printouts so that you knew when money was coming back to be reapplied to a TIF or something that money was coming back into you guys. So,
Can you clarify the amounts? So there were three things in the packet. One for 6,150 says NDOT reimbursement. And then
you had
Bridge 75, 55,992.89.
there were he sent a few different. So you have I don't know which one's up first on yours. I'm sorry. So can I go?
That's okay, sure.
Whichever's on first.
Do whatever you got.
So you had $25,000.30 going back to one of the ARP funds.
That's Bridge 112 ARP.
$10,088 going to a TIF fund,
Bridge 51.
and $6,090 going to a fund,
Bridge 75.
6,150.
And that was for an inspection, I believe. Yep.
The last one, $55,990.89 for Bridge 75. Going back into the TIF. I think those are all of them.
So when those came back to Angie, I don't know what the mechanism is to get that communication back to the auditor's office so those things can be credited. Was it Angie directly that was sending that stuff to you, or, I mean, Angie's not here, so what's the mechanism? Yeah, sure. Tanya, would you come up? Thanks. Just want to make sure that this ball doesn't get dropped. That's a lot of money. Any money's a lot.
Normally, people are just in contact with the head bookkeeper when they need to receipt something in. So you can always send things to accounts receivable since it's coming in rather than going out like accounts payable. But just be in contact with accounts receivable through email, stating that you're going to be bringing it in to receipt in. It's done through Quietus, and you'd be provided a receipt.
I'm assuming the highway department has always brought those directly to you guys.
Yes.
Was not, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, and right now, Angie's not there. I'm assuming it was Angie that did it. And Angie's not there.
Yeah, we always dealt with Angie and Carrie, basically.
And
I
Carrie.
think one of the emails came from Billy.
And she's gone also.
So I don't know who took those over to the auditor's office, but my understanding was those were already taken.
I will follow up. I'll take
I was
that.
going to say, I'll be happy to speak
Please.
with Carrie.
Let's work together.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to go back real quick to 2025-08. That's titled an amended resolution. That's not correct. '07 is the only amended resolution.
I will take off the word amended. You're correct.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, good catch. Thank you.
Number 12, Cowan Road project update from Lockmuir. On here.
This is that drainage project, isn't it? Commissioner Hammond, that's right beside,
Yeah, I believe it is.
right beside the railroad track.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually received an email from Lockmuir, and they said, hey, are you guys still going forward with this? Do we need to keep working on it or not? They're looking for some sort of direction. I told him our meeting was today. Maybe he went to the Innovation Connector, I don't know, but that's what he's looking for direction. Are we gonna continue with this project? I don't know why we wouldn't,
This
or was
is,
he given some indication that we wouldn't?
this has occurred when Mr. Lookout left, there, some things were put on hold, and it's probably just uncertainty with point of contact.
He gave a presentation in January or February to you guys, and I think it's just been kind of waiting on an answer to him as to what you guys wanted.
Does anybody wanna stop it? I don't.
I thought we were moving forward.
I did too.
I was under the impression we were.
Alright, I'll respond to him and let him know that we have no intention at this time to stop the project.
Moving on. Number 13, 3710 North Morrison, corner of Morrison and Bethel. That property will close on approximately, should that say May?
It should.
Okay, I thought so.
Actually, it may have been April.
I believe it was
Oh,
May, and
was
I've
it May?
actually received
I have to.
2 emails since we've been sitting here from Mr. Sturgis.
It is May.
May.
Thank you.
So, and as another update, there was a BZA application, that President Green had to sign. They had apparently originally thought they were going to have to go in for, a sign variance and then for their entrance being within so many feet of the road and a couple of other things. We found out this week that that was withdrawn. We weren't made aware of that, so I reached out to the realtor this week, and he said that they were told they no longer needed and they had everything in order, they didn't need those variances.
They're gonna work within the sign
Yeah.
requirements.
So, I guess they changed their
Site design, it's good
planning
news.
compliance, so, just so you guys know, it wasn't that it was approved or denied, they withdrew that application.
The email that I just received from Mark Sturgis 28 minutes ago, the closing will now be Friday, April 18th.
Oh, well, so none of the dates are correct.
Number 14, the Isaiah House, they sent a newsletter for informational purposes. Everyone should have received that.
Actually, I was just so you guys knew what they were doing and seeing their progress.
Thank you. Then number 15 on the agenda, refund received from Lockmuir.
We had discussed a duplicate payment to them, so I just wanted to let you guys know that was reported back in.
Thank you. Now moving on to invoices. Does anyone have any questions?
I do. The fifth one down, United Consulting, ARP infrastructure, $3,500. And Danielle and I talked about this last night, but why does this board approve ARP money?
There are certain projects that were, dedicated by the commissioners, to be done by the redevelopment commission because they fit within a redevelopment commission project or scope of projects. So the funding would come from ARP, but the redevelopment commission would be the one that would help spearhead that project. Like the Shell building, I think out in Delaware is a perfect example.
Okay. And then, the one that's, towards the bottom, Baker Tilly, 45,300. They came and gave that presentation last month, but there's a date coming up where they have to file with the IRS, right, on our behalf?
This week, they sent me an inquiry about 6 different items they wanted clarification on. I was trying to prepare for the meeting. I've sent them a response to half of them, giving them resolutions to go with their inquiry and following up on all the information that they needed, but I think they're pretty close to being done with all of that. I think they just had a few pieces they needed to button up.
No risk of missing the filing date that
No,
they've
not-
articulated.
Not to
Okay,
my understanding. I think they're pretty much ready to go.
good. And then there's another one on here for Baker Tilly Bell Perch, $1,500. I did not see an invoice for that, but I'm assuming it's, yeah.
That's
That's
the
because it's the
resolution.
one that goes with the resolution.
Okay, that is the resolution.
Just so that could be paid.
And then Innovation Connector, I know we agreed to give them 50,000, but should they not send us an invoice?
They
sent a letter?
did. It came it's like an electronic link.
Okay. That's good.
There's a payable voucher, ONB Wealth Management, TIF, Park Tucson 2, 160, 860, 68. Not on our list of invoices. Unless I'm missing it.
Say that again?
There is a accounts payable voucher. It's possible my packet's messed up.
We had a lot of
A lot of things.
claims I was processing.
Oh, O and B.
ONB, the amount of $168,860.68. TIF Fund, Park Tucson, TIF Fund, Park Tucson.
Yeah, so that was the 168.60. I think that was one that was actually approved at a prior meeting. And there was we had to do a transfer from the new Tucson, I think, to take it out of all from Park Tucson. That is one I have pulled to ask for clarification. Sarah and I were gonna try to talk before the meeting and we didn't get it done. But that's a prior approved invoice. I know that's from January. So I can't give you an update on that because I don't know the update on what the issue was with transferring.
It just wasn't on this
From what
list.
account?
And with all we have this month, it makes sense. Thanks,
No,
Danielle.
it's not on it. It's not a new claim. That's why it's not on the claims. It was an issue that came up that was from a January.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the invoices.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second, roll call please.
Mr. Keesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. I'm correct in saying that we have no bond or bought invoices? Okay. You have something?
I have something else, but
Go ahead.
okay. One thing I want to ask from you guys, if somebody will entertain a motion regarding this, we have properties that we still have to pay stormwater and ditch assessment fees on. So I reviewed the claim from last year where you guys paid about $365 for spring for all of the properties. So I got on Beacon and I started searching, and not everything is nice and neat labeled as Delaware County Redevelopment. You have one or two that's labeled as Delaware County for the use and the benefit of redevelopment, which I never would have found that if I just started digging. So I sent what I believe to be all the parcels. I'm working with the auditor's office and Cammie to make sure that I have covered everything that I could possibly have as properties for you guys. But those fees will need to be paid for the spring installment, and it's due, I think, 2 days after your meeting. So I'd like to go ahead and get those paid in the next week as soon as I clarify that number. I think you're looking at around $71.04. But I didn't put it on the claims because I wasn't 100% for sure because she was on vacation last week. So I would hope that you guys would entertain a motion to approve paying whatever storm, water, and ditch assessment fees are due. It looks like it's going to be under $100 for all of the properties that are going to be due, but That's why there's not a specific claim, because I didn't know the specific number for certain yet.
Motion to approve up to $100.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Keesley,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggerly,
Yes.
Ms. Green.
Yes. Would anyone from the public like to speak? Can you go to the podium, please? Thank you.
Mr. Yinser, the other one has the microphone. If you could go to the other one. I don't think that
I
was.
don't believe that one
Yeah,
works.
sorry. We're ordering 2 more microphones, one for the desks here and one for that podium.
Rick Yetzer, newsman and author. I hope you take into consideration what's going on right now with the state wanting to institute over $1 billion in property tax reform that's going to impact local government greatly, and the federal government that wants to cut trillions in spending. I mentioned this the other day that government needs to slow down on its spending, because you're going to find that it's going to be millions or billions that local government and schools are going to lose. And as I remember this government, you're so heavily in debt, like, what was it, Gateway, a year or two ago? 99 million, mostly for the school jail, but you've saddled taxpayers with massive debt, and now you're going to have to probably raise income taxes. I know this group uses a lot of TIP money and a lot of other money that goes to infrastructure and utilities, but until we know the extent of cutbacks from the state and the federal government, I just say slow down, because again, the taxpayers have been burdened enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So in the meeting minute correction, I brought up the Westdale project. Does anybody know if the updated PERs, is that moving forward?
Yeah, so the PER was updated, the application was sent in, by the deadline. We've already had some feedback from them, and, Commonwealth has updated, they wanted a permit number, which, Westdale's plant was going to be decommissioned, so they weren't going to have a permit number that was going to go in where they were asking for one. So they said, well, that's 2 points extra you get when we're classifying these. So they asked us to put in Gaston's, which is where the flow would go. So that's been updated to give us 2 extra points in the grading system. So far so good. I mean, they're asking questions, they're giving good advice and helping us get rated higher. So we shall.
You anticipate the project to move forward and they'll get a bond?
Well, I can't speak, that decision comes from Westdale,
I
right?
understand.
So, I guess I'm speaking from the DCRWD perspective as far as we submitted the application kind of on their behalf. And I know Commonwealth is doing everything that the state's asking as far as giving updates. The decision on whether the project moves forward will depend on what percentage of funding they get approved for, to determine whether they can issue a bond for any remaining balance. So then Westdale will have to decide that part.
Gotcha. I just want to be on the record as many times as I possibly can that if that project does move forward and they bond, that the monies that this body has put towards that project are included in the bond. And I know that's a Westdale board decision, but I just want to keep saying it. And I will go to the Westdale school board meeting when they get to that point. I assume everybody received their TIF balances, TIF totals. I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around all this stuff. And while Baker Tilly gave the report last month and we understand our obligation for debt service as it relates to bonds, I don't know that we understand all of the previous commitments out of this body. A good example is the Daleville TIF that we gave back, and then immediately Daleville had to turn around and write a $200,000 check. So, I don't know where all of the I'm gonna make up a year, last 4 years worth of, issuances that this body has agreed to that are ongoing. Somehow we need to get that in a forecast, so we know what is already obligated to be spent out of these TIFs in addition to the bonds. You know, there's one here in front of me, where it was actually for Yorktown for the Oliver project. It looks to me like this body pledged $4 million towards that project, and 1.3 went out 90 days after it. That was in 2020. $300,000 came out every year, sometime before July 1st each year. So if you add up 2021, 2022, 2023, and 24, that's another 1.2 million plus the 1.3. That's 2.5 of the 4 million. So the way I read this, we're still obligated for another 1.5 million. Right? I don't know if that's on anybody's radar or if it's being tracked somewhere in the anticipation, but yeah, please.
Yes.
This obligation was quite confusing to me as well. Ms. Lutton and I have actually been discussing this. I went back and found the paperwork. This was prior to my administration. My understanding was that it was 3 million, but if I'm misspeaking there, then my apologies. My understanding is that edit dollars that otherwise would have been obligated to Yorktown were going to go to the jail project, and then TIF funds were supposed to flow from the Morrison TIF through the connected TIFs to the Oliver project in the sum of $300,000 annually. That's my understanding of it now, having not been in any of the meetings or any of those things. It does not appear that's what's been occurring. It appears that we've been getting $300,000 of edit funds to support the Oliver project. And I would be happy to discuss that because I would like to unravel that further. So if anyone would like to email me and have a meeting regarding it, I think it's an important topic.
It's a very important topic. If we agreed to pay it out of TIF and it's been coming out of edit.
I would agree.
Yeah, and while I like your number better than mine, I like your 3 million better than the 4 million.
Yeah, I would like to verify what that.
Yeah, I'm sure you like my number better, but somehow we have to, and this is just one example, right? So we got the Daleville example, we got the Yorktown example, and I don't know if anybody has their arms around all of the previous obligations. You can call it encumbrances, you can call it whatever you want to, but nobody knows what we have obligated. I don't.
And so just to extrapolate on that, when Matt Eggerly came last month, I pulled President Green aside and asked him if we could have a meeting once they get all of the information completed that they're getting ready to submit that you just referenced, and asked if he could sit down with us so that we understood when we're pulling money from here, what is already obligated and what can we not do. So I did ask him if he could sit down with us and make sure that we understood that we're doing things correctly. And he said he thought that would be a great meeting, but he thought it would be more helpful if he had everything completed that he was going to be doing in April. So
I'd like for him to get the taxes filed. Yeah, I agree. But then we need to have that meeting. But then again, I don't know if he has access to all of the resolutions and ordinances and everything that have been passed out of this body, and I'm only making up the last 4 years, right? At some point we have to go through that stuff.
Actually, this not off topic, but on topic. So as far as all the resolutions, it made me think the intern, I think he may be done this week. He was extremely efficient at getting the 5 years scanned to our server. I cautioned Miss Green that when he scanned, what was in a book. So as far as us organizing to make sure there's not something in the agreements book that should go in a different category, it's scanned per how he found it, I guess is how I'll put that. But I think he only has 1 or 2 binders left to complete the 5-year scan. So I thought that was,
It's progress.
Yeah, it's progress, and to say that now I think we have all of that information at least on a server to where if we do have to easily access any of those resolutions or get information to
Are all of the resolutions or ordinances out of this body in one repository somewhere where I can go pull them?
there now.
Okay.
But in
prior to that 5 years, if it's not on our server, something that our office did, they're still in those binders that were turned
Okay.
over to us
But things are, everything's scanned now and it's somewhere in a drive or
for the past 5 years.
the past
That's
5
what you guys
Okay.
asked for, just
When
that.
that's complete, I'll work with you. I'd like to point an AI tool at it and try to pull out these obligations rather than us going.
I would like to make a recommendation, we just have Bigger Tilly do a study and give us a copy of the report.
Well, I think they're already gonna do that part. I agree with you.
I mean, I think, cause I agree, we need to see what's owed. I would like to see what's been paid in the past, and I think that needs to be in an official report.
I actually have what was paid in the past. I had asked the auditor's office and they did a really nice job getting me the information. So from 2016 through 2025, this body paid out, and not all the way through 25. So this is somewhere middle of late February, early March, 2016 through beginning of 25, $74.5 million total. And in that, it appears, not been verified, that there are some duplicate payments and credits. The debits, which appear to be duplicated, and the auditor's office is vetting this out, we're working with them. What appears to be duplicate, I'm not saying that it is, $491,869. And there are credits totaling $455,063. So the delta there is about 38 grand. And we have to vet that stuff out. But it's exactly what you're talking about, right? I mean,
Yes.
that goes back to 2016.
Yes, I made that a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Keesling,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brand,
Yes.
Mr. Wunderlich,
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Will you reach out to them then? Okay, thanks.
Have any other comments? I have one, after speaking with Ms. Struble. We've not found any case law that objects to this, so if there are no objections from any other commissioners, I would like to permanently move our meetings here. Starting in July, they're going to need to be live streamed anyway. Another entity had spoken with Mr. Slusher about doing that from the Innovation Connector because it was not currently set up to do that, and the cost was going to be about $4,000. I think it's easier to just have them here, and he's able to live stream. There's new microphones. There's room for folks that want to attend. But if there are any objections, please let me know.
I like it here.
You're used to it.
A little bit.
President Green, and I agree. Is it possible next month we have a sign-in sheet for those who wish to speak, similar to the county commission and county councilors? So we
Don't see a problem with that. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.